y'all, what's up? And welcome back to another episode of the Healing Version Podcast with me, Deborah, your host. This is an episode of Versions of Healing, which is the interview segment. And today's guest is an inspiring voice of courage, grit, and gratitude. Laura Bratton, a speaker and advocate who lost her sight as a teenager and gained a new vision for life. Through her personal journey of blindness, grief, and resilience, Laura has empowered countless individuals to navigate unexpected life changes with grace and strength. She brings practical tools and a powerful perspective on overcoming adversity and choosing gratitude, even in the darkest moments. Get ready to be moved and motivated. Hi, Laura. Thank you so much for being here today on Versions of Healing. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, no problem. We are so happy to have you. So I just want to get into early on in your journey. Um, when you first lost your eyesight, what was your mindset like when you first began to lose your vision?
My initial reaction was denial. This is not happening. Oh, it's not going to be that bad. Oh, it'll come back very, very soon. I'll just pray hard enough. I'll manifest hard enough. It'll all come back. So my first initial reaction was denial. That denial didn't last very long. Then my mindset was 100%, I can't do this. This is too hard. It's too much. Being in high school, I just want to be a teenager with sight like all my other friends and all the other students in the high school. I don't want to go through all the major change, and I don't think I have the strength.
So can you walk us through initially what happened? How did you lose your sight? Like what was the cause?
So great question. We still don't know years and years and years later. So I was diagnosed with a very, very, very rare retinal disease. And even with all the genetic testing possible now, the direct cause is the gene that caused the mutation is still not discovered. So basically, in the most simple form, the cells of my retina started to die, started to deteriorate. And so I lost peripheral vision, or I lost central vision first, and then I had peripheral vision, which is our side vision. So again, in the most simple form, in the way I can explain it, obviously the doctors can do much better. The cells in my retina were dying. So that's what caused the blindness, the vision loss.
Okay, so you're in high school, you go through the denial period. What happens right after the denial period?
That was the anxiety, deep, deep anxiety, which manifested in panic attacks, and then the deep depression, which manifested in just that debilitating, your body feels so heavy. Just you can't, it feels like you have bricks attached to your body. You can't really move. You can't think clearly. It's just that foggy brain. So it was the combination of panic attacks coupled with the depression.
And how was that in high school? Because I know in high school, some kids are mature, some aren't. How was it going through that in high school?
It was incredibly difficult. And that's the reason for the anxiety and the depression was as I was going through the vision loss and trying to adapt, I just wanted to be a normal high schooler. I wanted to be worried about all the other things my friends are worried about, not worried about, oh my gosh, how do I navigate the world as a person who can't see? So there's a huge grief component of I'm grieving what I lost. I'm grieving what I no longer had. I'm grieving what my friends have that I used to have, but don't have now. So it was a combination of grief, anxiety, depression, all of that mixed together.
And can you take us into the initial period of the grieving process, what it was like for you, on a day-to-day?
It was a very difficult balance of, again, that panic attack of feeling like, again, elephants or bricks are on your chest. And so you don't feel like you can get your next breath. But yet at the same time, while I was in panic, it was such deep depression. I couldn't really think. So the loss, it was so intense, my mind couldn't fully comprehend what I was experiencing. So that's why it manifested in my emotions as the anxiety and the depression. So it wasn't just grief, like sadness, tears. It was intense, intense panic in my chest and the depression where I couldn't think, the emotional mindset. While at the same time, I was trying to still do algebra and English and Spanish and get through high school. So at the same time, I was trying to convince myself, oh, I'm okay. Oh, just keep going. Oh, just be positive. So all that is a recipe for disaster.
How was your support during that time? Like, who did you have?
That was the gift. And that was the absolute gift. And the reason that I now do what I do professionally. So as I am so depressed and deeply, deeply anxious and panic attacks and just locked down in that grief, as I described that horrible combination, the gift was the support around me. Every single day, my parents would say to me in those high school years, Laura, we don't know the future. All we're going to do is take it day by day by day. And they literally reminded me of that every day for years, where I was so overwhelmed. Oh my gosh, how am I going to live? How am I going to do the future? Their mindset was moment by moment, literally hour by hour. Getting up, getting dressed, getting to school on time. That's a major accomplishment for the day. So over time, as they were modeling this for me, I slowly realized, oh, maybe I can take it moment by moment rather than being so overwhelmed by the future. Another great gift, and it didn't feel like a gift of support at the time. I can laugh about it now, but as I'm going through this, I have one older brother who's 5 years older. He continued to treat me like that annoying little sister that drove him crazy all the time. And he still continued to treat me like that. He didn't baby me. He didn't coddle me. He didn't do things for me. He just continued to treat me like that little sister that I always was. And of course, at the time, I was like, you're the meanest brother in the world. But now we can laugh at that. And what he was teaching me and why that was such a support was his actions were teaching me, Laura, you're still you. You just can't see as well. Like, you still have goals. You still matter. You're still my annoying little sister. That part didn't change. You just can't see as well. So again, that did not feel like support at the time, but then I realized that was the best support I could have received because it taught me I can't use blindness as an excuse. And the other major support that I would love to share is, as my parents were saying, we'll take it day by day, they didn't lower their standards or change their standards for me as I was losing my sight. So what I mean by that is they didn't start treating my brother, one way as their, quote, normal child and me as their, quote, disabled child. They didn't treat us different. We still both had chores, all the normal things we still had at home. A perfect example is I thought in my brilliant high school mind, oh, I'm just going to use blindness to get out of every chore at home I don't want to do. I thought that was a brilliant idea as the high schooler. So one night when my mom said, okay, Laura, it's time for you to unload the dishwasher, I looked at her and I said, Mom, I can't load the dishwasher anymore. I can't see to exactly put the silverware perfectly in the silverware drawer. So sorry, I can't load the dishwasher. And she's an elementary school teacher, was at the time, she's retired now. And she turned around and looked at me and said, Laura Bratton, put the silverware in the silverware drawer. And then she just walked out of the kitchen. And it was in that teacher voice. And when she used it in the South, when they use their first and last name, that means don't talk back to me. Don't say another word. Do what I ask. Yes. So when she said that, I was like, ooh, okay. She means put silver in the silverware drawer. And again, in the moment, I'm like, you're the meanest mom. Well, my dad's in the other room clearly hearing all this, and he didn't jump in and say, oh, sweetie, you don't have to unload the dishwasher anymore. I thought, gosh, y'all are the meanest parents on the face of this earth. But now that's the greatest support I could have received because I shared that to say they taught me and they modeled, you can't use the difficulty as an excuse. You're still you. You're still enough. You still have gifts. You still matter. You just have to do things in a different way.
Yes.
And so, again, that's why I share all those examples to say that was the support I received that helped me move forward from the anxiety, from the depression, to help me know I can keep going.
That's really good. That's really good. It's like they were pushing you like, hey, you can still do these things. Don't let it handicap you or stop you, or because you can still do them. You
Right.
just, it's a mindset to say, oh, I can't do it. That
Right.
was your
It's
mindset,
100%
in high
mindset.
school.
Yeah. And my mom
Something you
even
thought you
would,
would get away with.
yeah, my mom even said later, like, Laura, it's okay if, a few forks and spoons are in the knife section. If the silverware is a little bit not in perfect place in the silverware drawer, that's not the point. The point was to teach you can still do it. It's just exactly what you said. It's a mindset thing. If we told you you can't, you would believe you can't.
So you often speak of grit. How did that become a source of strength for you?
I'm so glad you asked that right now. And the reason I say that is because everything I just shared taught me grit, and not the grit of move forward, be strong, suck it up, keep going, don't complain, be positive. It's the grit of taking life moment by moment by moment. So it's having the grit to say, I believe in myself for the next hour. I choose to be resilient for the next hour. I choose to trust my support system for the next hour. So again, it's the grit I've experienced is taking our big goal. And for me, the big goal was living life without sight, breaking that down into small, manageable goals that we can achieve every day. The goals being get through each day. So that's the grit of choose to have courage this day. The grit of saying, wow, self, I trusted myself today, and the panic attack was a little bit less than the day before. So the grit that I've experienced and the grit that I work with people on is trusting ourselves and having that courage in the difficult situations when life is really, really hard.
Absolutely. That's good. That's good. So, with gratitude, it's powerful. It's very powerful within your story. What role did it play in your healing? This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp, your online therapy solution. I'm going to be real with y'all. Therapy changed everything for me. Just having someone to talk to who's trained to help me and unpack life and reflect without judgment, that was powerful. BetterHelp is an online therapy platform that makes getting started easy. You fill out a quick questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist within a few days. And say you get matched with a therapist and they're not a good fit for you. You can switch at any time at no extra cost. So if you are ready to start your own healing journey, visit betterhelp.com/the healing version to get 10% off your first month. Again, that's betterhelp.com/the healing version. Thank you.
So it was a major part of my mindset healing from the anxiety, from the depression. And even now today, it is a major, major, major part of my mindset perspective. And I would love to share how the gratitude started. I did not just wake up one day and say, okay, I'm grateful to be blind. This is wonderful. I recommend it to everyone. Let's just be grateful. The way that the gratitude started was a mentor of mine late in the high school years came to me and said, Laura, I want you to start writing down every day 3 things that you're grateful for. And again, in my southernness, thankfully I smiled and said, okay. In my head, I was thinking, you are a horrible mentor. I'm depressed. I'm anxious. I'm grieving. And you're telling me to be thankful. I do not have anything to be thankful for. So in my teenage stubbornness, I said, okay, I'm going to prove her wrong. So I started to think of things at the end of each day I was grateful for. And the one day became 4 days. And the 4 days became a week. And a week became 3 weeks. What I realized was she was not saying, wake up and be thankful for the blindness, for the difficulty, for the change, for the loss, for the grief. She was teaching the mindset of wake up and be grateful for what helps you navigate through the difficulty, through the grief, through the change. So, again, a lived example. She was not saying wake up and be grateful you're blind. She was saying wake up and be grateful you have a guide dog that helps you navigate the world. So
So you had an actual dog?
yes, I've had 2 guide dogs. Yeah.
Oh, did you have the dog in high school?
I didn't. I got
Okay.
one those few months in between high school and college. So,
Oh,
and that
okay.
is such a source of gratitude because it's the gratitude that she was teaching me that I've developed is the mindset, the perspective. We're grateful for what helps us navigate through the difficulty, what helps us get to that place of healing.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to make that very, very clear. It's not being grateful for the loss, for the anxiety, for the difficulty. It's being grateful for those people, the situations, the events that help move us forward and provide healing from the difficulty.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's good. That's a real good perspective because I think a lot of times people get stuck in the difficulty and can't see past it, even to be grateful for all the other things that, that they do have going on around them that they can be grateful for because there's always something to
Yes.
be grateful for, even if it's just a little small. If you woke up and you're breathing, there's something to be grateful for, I
Right.
promise.
Right. Right. And I'm so, thank you for saying that. You're so right. When we're in difficulty, that's typically all of our focus.
Mm-hmm.
We lose focus on what is going well, what we do have to be grateful for.
Yeah. Yep. So how would you define being courageous today?
Great question. Work in progress every single day. The way that I've learned to define courage, again, just like grit, is not that. Courage means being strong, never complaining, never feeling my emotions, just moving on, being positive. The way I've learned to define courage is that balance between acknowledging the difficulty and choosing to still move forward. So, again,
Mm-hmm.
in my specific life situation, what courage looks like for me is saying, wow, this is really, really hard because I can't see. I acknowledge that. I feel that pain. Okay, now what can I do to accomplish that task? So again, for me, courage is that balance of acknowledging the fear, acknowledging the difficulty, acknowledging the loss, and still choosing to take one step forward of what I can do to move forward, to be grateful. And sometimes courage looks like acknowledging the pain and then being grateful for the sunshine or being grateful for the piece of chocolate I ate earlier in the day that was delicious. Anything. It doesn't have to be something major, something huge. Just any
Absolutely.
perspective that can give us courage. A lot of times courage looks like trusting myself that I am enough. And that's what I found in so many people that I've worked with. Courage also often looks like just believing in ourselves.
Yes. Yes, that's big. That's like because I feel like when you have that difficulty, depending on what it is, you may not believe in yourself anymore. Start beating
Right.
yourself up
Right.
and, losing faith in yourself. So, yes, believing in yourself is very courageous. So, I don't know who needed to hear that, but I felt like that was a word. So, yes, absolutely. So, what daily practices or inner resources do you practice daily to help you develop resilience?
So mindfulness is a super helpful practice. And what I mean by that is the practice of mindfulness teaches us to be in the present moment. And what I've found for myself is it's so easy to get in that perspective of every thought is absolute fact. So if I have a fearful thought, that fear is going to be that fearful forever. That fear is going to come true. Rather than saying, that was one thought, let that thought come and then let that thought go. Mindfulness has helped me to have that perspective. And that's why I practice it daily of I can have thoughts and just let them go. Another deep way that mindfulness has helped me is the practice of mindfulness teaches us to focus on our breath, breathing the deep breaths from our diaphragm, not the short, anxious, shallow breaths that often makes us anxious. So for me, when I'm feeling anxious, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, when I'm feeling stuck in my thoughts, I'll just take a few minutes and stop and just focus on my breathing. And that sounds so simple. And I didn't think it would ever work when someone taught me that. And then it was like the gratitude, I started practicing it and realized the value.
Mm-hmm.
So that simple practice of deep breathing calms our thoughts, calms our anxiety, just calms our body down. So mindfulness is very helpful practice. And then also just that, the gratitude, practicing that daily. It's not just something I do weekly or monthly, but keeping that up on a daily basis is very, very helpful. And then just as you were talking about the courage, a practice of mine in the morning is just reminding myself those courageous statements. Okay, for today, I trust myself. For today, I trust the support around me. For today, it might be difficult, it might be hard, and I'll keep.
That's good. That's good. So with the mindfulness, are there any other practices or anything that you do, like meditating or?
What I do also with the mindfulness is the body scan. When I'm anxious, and I found this for me, and I found this again with a lot of people I work with, when we're anxious, we often tense our body, tense our shoulders, clench our fist, just hold our muscles so tight. And that just increases our anxiety. That gives us shallow breathing. So mindfulness, a practice that I do every day, is just stop. And I'll use around mealtime to help remind me right before I start eating a meal, is my body relaxed? Are my shoulders tense or are they relaxed? How is my breathing? How am I just holding the tension in my body, or am I just relaxed and just at ease? Mm-hmm. So again, just like the breathing, that practice sounds so simple, and it is, yet it has, at least for me and for a lot of people I've worked with, profound effects when we can become aware of how we feel in our body.
Yes, I like the body scan. I heard about that not too long ago from someone else I interviewed, and I'm like, I do, like, I get anxiety when I drive on certain highways, and I realize that I'm like clenching the mess out the steering wheel.
Yes.
And I'm like, girl, let the steering wheel go like that.
You don't have to break the steering wheel, right?
Yes, so I've been very I've been very conscious of that now, and I'm just like, I'll realize something, like I'll be getting my hair done and like my fist will be like clenched like really tight, and I'm like, relax, it's
relax.
okay.
Yeah, and isn't it crazy how much it helps?
Yeah.
Yes, it helps so significantly with our mindset.
Yes. I never like even thought to even do a body scan, so it has helped me tremendously.
Yes, and there are lots of, the way I started learn this to get in the habit, online, if you just Google research, just mindfulness body scans, there's a lot of meditations, either 5 minute, 10-minute, 20-minute body scans that you can play on YouTube that will teach you how to do the body scan. So I would just play that for a while until I got into the habit of just doing it on my own. So that's a very helpful resource.
Awesome.
For people who are just getting started.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. So, what advice would you give to someone who's currently experiencing a life-changing transition?
My first advice would be to acknowledge it's really, really, really hard. Oftentimes, we immediately jump into that, just like me, I can't do this, or we jump into that problem solving, moving forward, or being so overwhelmed we just can't focus. And we forget to just stop and give ourselves the space to acknowledge this is really hard. This is really difficult. So my first step in the advice would be, as you're going through that difficult situation, give yourself the space just to say, this is hard, this is uncomfortable, this is uncertain. And then my next advice would be, trust the support around you when you don't feel like you can trust yourself. Rather than feeling like you have to be strong, you have to have it all together, you have to have the answer to navigate forward, just simply trust the support around you and let them hold you as you just be in the difficulty. And then once the support, the third piece of that, once you acknowledge the difficulty, lean on that support around you. The third step would be then choose to move forward literally moment by moment by moment. Again, we can get, and I say that because we can get so overwhelmed with solving the problem instantly. How's this change going to affect my life, affect my family, affect my children, affect my job, affect every part of me? It's so overwhelming. If we just take it moment by moment by moment, all those moments add up to days, and the days add up to weeks, and the weeks add up to months. So from a mindset perspective, if we can take it moment by moment, it's doable rather than so overwhelming.
Yes.
So my advice is acknowledge the difficulty, trust the support around you, and then choose to move forward moment by moment by moment.
Yes. And I feel like that is also helpful because it helps with the anxiety. Because when you think about it in a long term and you're thinking about next week and next month, and it's like, oh, now I'm anxious, and you can't even do anything about
Right.
next week and
Right.
next month. There's absolutely nothing you can do.
Right.
However, that you can change what you're doing in the moment that
Moment.
can also help you with next week and next
Yes.
month. But
Yep.
you can't hop into next month and like do anything. So don't let it get you down.
Right.
So, what is something that you wish people better understood about living with vision loss or adapting to any kind of sudden life change?
What would the advice be to someone with
No,
sudden
like what
change?
is something you wish people understood better? Like it's something that maybe people misunderstand about vision loss or any sudden life change.
Two truths can be true at the same time. And what I mean by that is we can grieve and move forward at the exact same time. And
Mm-hmm.
another conversation with another mentor that I had perfectly sums up what I mean by that. So it was about a week or two before I was starting college, and I was in a meeting with a mentor. I went to Arizona State and I was meeting with a mentor right before I started. And at the end of the conversation, she said, Laura, I just want to let you know you think you're done grieving. You think you went through high school, you grieved your vision loss during high school, you're done. Now you can move forward. I just want to let you know it's okay to grieve the rest of your life. And that's actually healing and healthy. And that still means you're moving forward. You can do both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I share that interaction is to give people that same permission when whatever the major sudden loss is or any kind of change, we can do both at the same time. We can grieve the change while still moving forward. My perspective was we do one and then the other. We grieve, grieving's over, then I move forward. And again, some people I work with, they say, okay, but it's been a couple months. Should I be done grieving? Like, absolutely not. It's like, okay, I'm done grieving now. Let me move forward. What's the plan? I'm like, we can do both at the same time. And that is okay. That is healing. So that would be what I wish people would understand and could understand about me as I went through the vision loss or anybody going through any type of loss. We grieve and we move forward all at the same time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I love that. Grieving and moving at the same time because grieving is like what I would say is that I wish people understood that grieving is not like one way. Like there's not
Yes.
this book where it says these are the things that you have to do to grieve. Like everybody grieves in their own way.
Yes.
One person's grieving is not going to look like the other person's, and like just it's not a set in stone. You got to
Right.
cry at 3 p.m. every day, and that means you're grieving. No, you may not cry for months, and then one day it might just hit you,
Yes.
and then you're still grieving, and that's okay. And
And
don't let anybody tell you how long you should be grieving. Nobody can put a timestamp on your grieving.
right.
That really bothers me when people are like, "Oh, you still like you're not over it." Like, what? Who are you, and how do you get to decide that?
Yes,
No.
you are 100% right. I'm trained in working with people in grief, in counseling them through grief. And so I've worked with countless people grieving all types of loss. And you are totally right. I've yet to have two people grieve in the same way. We're all different. The grief affects us in such a different way. There's no timeline. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. And so I'm so glad that you said that, because it's absolutely true. There's no timeline and there's no right way. There's no wrong way.
Absolutely. So, Laura, what would you say that you are most grateful for today?
Learning to be grateful and focus on the small moments of everyday life, not just the perspective of focusing on those huge things that in the long run don't matter as much as those individual moments of each day. So just being present in the day and being grateful for a conversation with a loved one, a friend, whether that conversation is 5 minutes or however long, 2 hours, it doesn't matter. Just being grateful for the sunrise and walking outside and hearing the birds and enjoying the flowers. Just being grateful for those everyday moments that help sustain us and fill us, rather than focusing on what doesn't matter.
Absolutely. I like that. I like that. So, if you could leave the listeners with one message or one empowering thought, what would that be?
You are enough. As we go through change, as we go through difficulty, as we go through the healing process, whatever we're healing from, it's so hard to remember we're still enough. So the main message, what I want to leave everyone with, and what I want everyone to hear and believe and trust, you are enough.
Yes. Well, Laura, can you please give the audience the ways to contact you, your social medias, website, any information if they wanted to tap in and see some of your work?
The best place is my website. So that has all the information about my book, about speaking, about coaching. It's all on my website, laurabratton.com.
And I will add that in the show description. And Laura, I thank you so much for being here with me. This interview was a long time coming. We finally got it. I think we started talking in April.
Yes, thank
July.
you
We
for the
finally got to
opportunity.
connect.
Thank you
I'm
for
so
creating the
glad that you,
platform.
absolutely. And listeners, I thank you all for being here. Thank you for listening. And until next time, peace.